Hello, I'm Yan Guvana. Today we'll present you our project on network and security infrastructure and directory services and identity management for City General Hospital. As you can see on slide 2, is the introduction to why IT infrastructure matters. In modern healthcare, IT infrastructure is the backbone of the hospital operations. For electronic health records to diagnostic systems, everything depends on secure and reliable connectivity. If network goes down, it can directly affect patient care. That's why reliability, data security, and proper user access are critical to ensure smooth hospital operations. On slide 3, we can see network overview about LAN and star topology. City General Hospital uses a local area network, or LAN, to connect all departments within the hospital. We choose a star topology where all devices connect to a central switch. This design is reliable because if one connection fails, the rest of the network continues working. It is also scalable, meaning new departments or devices can be added easily. On slide 4, network and devices. The two main devices used in the network are switch and routers. Switch connects devices within the same network and forward data efficiently. Routers connect the hospital network to external networks like the internet and determine the best path for data. Together they ensure smooth connection, ensure that the hospital all across the hospital has access to the internet and are connected to one another. On slide 5, routing and switching concepts. It is used to transfer data within the same network while routing used between different networks. We also have different routing types, for example the static routing. Manually configured, dynamic routing automatically adjusts, best for hospitals. Default routing used when no specific path is known. Dynamic routing is preferred because it adapts automatically to network changes. On slide 6, we talk about the VLAN implementation. VLAN allows us to divide one physical network into multiple logical networks. For example, medical staff, administrative staff, laboratory and pharmacy systems, and guest Wi-Fi. This improves security and reduces network congestions by keeping traffic separated or segregated. On slide 7, network security, firewalls and zones. Network security is essential to protect sensitive patient data. We use firewalls to monitor and control traffic. There are different types such as packet filtering, stateful inspection, and proxy firewalls. We also divide the network into zones. Internal zones, internal zones, basically external and untrusted. DMZ, buffer zones, restricted zones, internal system within sensitive data. This layered approach strengthens security. This is also used to protect sensitive data of patient. For example, we keep their blood type, their sickness, or anything like that is vulnerable for the patient. We keep it secured. Information and naming model. The directory uses hierarchy structure like a tree. Users are grouped into categories such as doctors, nurses, and main staff. Each user has a distinguished name or a DN which uniquely identifies them in the system. This makes the management more organized and efficient. Security model, authentication and access control. The security model ensures that only authorized users can access certain systems. Authentication verifies identity. For example, username, password, and stuff, Access control determines whether each user can access. For example, doctors can access patient records, while admin can access billing and systems only. On slide 7, in conclusion, a strong network infrastructure combined with proper security and identity management ensures reliable hospital operations, protection of sensitive data, efficient staff workflows, and that's all. Thank you for your attention. I'm Yan Guvana, and that's all.
My name name is Anusuishe and I'll be presenting on the application and middleware overview. Applications play a very critical role in the IT infrastructure for City General Hospital. They allow patients and doctors to interact with data. Middleware allows applications to communicate with each other, sending requests back and forth, allowing them to integrate smoothly within the system. The system architecture for City General Hospital will have 3 layers: the data layer, application layer, and the presentation layer. The data layer is where all the data collected throughout the hospital will be stored. Data such as patient details, lab results, diagnoses, and doctor details. The application layer will act as a buffer between the users and the data layer. This is where all the requests will be sent back and forth, and this is also the layer where the middleware will be located. The presentation layer is where the user interface will be implemented. This will allow doctors and patients and all staff to interact with the applications and the data that's within them. The following are examples of applications that will be implemented into City General's IT infrastructure: record system, hospital management system, laboratory management system, inventory management system, and the imaging management system. The middleware plays a very crucial role in the hospital's IT infrastructure. It will have the following functions: application integration, which means it will allow applications to communicate with each other and send requests back and forth between each other without any need for any manual inputs. The middleware layer will also oversee the security for the data being transmitted between applications. The web tier oversees handling of requests from all web-based programs. The web tier will include web servers, load balancers, and security. The web servers will be used to host various applications and handle requests from end users. The load balancers will allow the traffic from incoming data to the hospital to be separated across multiple different servers to reduce the load on individual servers. And the security will allow all the data being transmitted to be transmitted safely without any fear of cyber attacks. All LTP systems are used to process small amounts of frequent data, which is why in this infrastructure they will be used mainly for administrative tasks. These systems can be used for the following: patient registration, booking, and billing. This system can also be used for prescriptions being sent to the pharmacy by doctors. Dimensional modeling will allow the hospital to take the large amounts of data in their data warehouse and turn it into usable, organized data that they can use for better decision making. This technique will allow them to generate reports such as performance reports, patient trends, and financial records. Ethical considerations for hospital systems primarily involve data privacy. Hospitals need to collect very sensitive data from their patients in order to operate. Therefore, the security of this data is very important. Data collected from patients should not be available to unauthorized personnel. The hospital should make it clear how the data will be collected, how it will be stored, and who will have access to it in order to get the patient's consent. The infrastructure should also take into account the possibility of cyber attacks and implement procedures to avoid them. Data reliability is also a concern. The data collected should be accurate in order to help the patients most effectively. System reliability is another important concern. Since hospitals need to operate 24/7, it's important that the hospital's data is always available and to avoid downtime. The hospital should implement strong techniques in order to avoid the threat of cyber attacks, such as role-based access control and secure logins. Role-based access control will make sure that the data can only be accessed by people who need it. And secure login procedures will minimize the risk of cyber attacks. Data encryption is also important to make sure that data is safely transmitted from one place to another. Firewalls will also be put in place to monitor the traffic coming in and out of the servers. Given that hospitals are a crucial part of every company's public and private sector, it's important that they follow all the standards expected of them. This includes various laws such as the Personal Data Protection Act, which is also recognized in Malaysia. In conclusion, since hospitals need sensitive data to operate, it is important that they protect this data to build trust from their patients.